on the 14th of November 2022 at the age of 81 years, born in February 1941 at Tiruvarur in Tamil Nadu. Sri Jinnah, an advocate, served as legal advisor to state transport of the government of Tamil Nadu. He served as a member of this House representing the state of Tamil Nadu from April 2008 to April 2014. In the passing away of Sri A. Jinnah, the country has lost an eminent advocate and an able parliamentarian. We deeply mourn the passing away of Sri K.R. Jaydevappa, Sri Syed Sipti Raji, Srimati Jayanti Patnaik, Sri Ahmad Saeed Maliabadi, Srimati Ila Ramesh Bhatt, and Sri A. Jinnah. I request honorable members to rise in their places and observe silence as a mark of respect to the memory of the departed. Secretary General will convey to the members of the bereaved family our sense of profound sorrow and deep sympathy. Honorable members, before we proceed further, I need to share my thought with you that in this House, if there is any departure from established rules, that does not send a good signal either to the country at large or to other theatres of legislature. I would urge all of you to reflect and scrupulously follow the rules. If one occupying the chair is on legs, a certain kind of decorum is required. I have seen violation of this. I would urge all of you, whomsoever may be in the chair, including myself, we must follow the rule. You all are aware of it. I am sure you will bear that in mind. Papers to be laid on the table, Secretary General.
Sir, with your kind permission, I rise to lay on the table a statement in English and Hindi showing the bills passed by the Houses of Parliament during the 257th session of Rajya Sabha and assented to by the President.
Shri Nityanand Rai.
माननीय सभापति महोदय, मैं आज की कार्यावली में क्रमांक संख्या 1 पर मेरे नाम के सम्मुख उल्लेखित दस्तावेज सभा पटल पर रखता हूँ।
श्रीमती अन्नपूर्णा देवी।
माननीय सभापति महोदय, आपकी अनुमति से आज की कार्यावली सूची की क्रम संख्या 2 पर मेरे नाम के सामने उल्लेखित दस्तावेजों को मैं सभा पटल पर रखती हूँ।
श्री वी मुरलीधरन।
Respected Chairman, sir, with your permission, on behalf of my colleague Sri B.L. Verma ji, I rise to lay the papers listed against his name at serial number 3 in today's list of business.
Message from Lok Sabha, Secretary General.
Sir, with your kind permission, I rise to report that the Lok Sabha at its sitting held on 8th August 2022 passed the New Delhi International Arbitration Center Amendment Bill 2022. I lay a copy of the said bill on the table.
Report of the Department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Industry, Shri Tiruchi Siva or Shrimati Sulata Dio.
Honorable Chairman, sir, I rise to present the 318th report of Department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Industry as listed against my name.
Statement by Minister Shrimati Smriti Zubin Irani.
With my compliments to the Chair and with your kind permission, sir, I wish to make the following statement. In pursuance of the provisions of Rule 35 of Procedure and Conduct of Business, I wish to inform the House status of implementation of recommendations contained in the 334th report of the Department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women, Children, Youth and Sports on issues related to safety of women pertaining to the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Additionally, sir, with your kind permission, in pursuance of the provisions of Rule 35 of Procedure and Conduct of Business, I wish to inform the House status of implementation of recommendations contained in the 338th report of the Department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Education, Women, Children, Youth and Sports on demand for grants 2022-23 pertaining to the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Thank you, sir.
I have to inform members that the panel of Vice Chairman has been reconstituted with effect from 5th of December 2022 with the following members: Shri Bhuvaneshwar Kalita, Shri L. Hanumanthaya, Shri Tiruchi Siva, Shri Sukhendu Shekhar Ray, Dr. Sashmit Patra, Miss Rose Pandey, Shri Surendra Singh Nagar. I have to inform members that the Business Advisory Committee, in its meeting held on the 6th of December 2022, has allotted time for government legislative business as follows: consideration and passing of the Biological Diversity Amendment Bill 2021 after it is passed by Lok Sabha, 4 hours. Consideration and passing of the following bills after their introduction: 1. The Constitution, Scheduled Tribes Order, 5th Amendment Bill 2022, 2 hours. The Constitution, Scheduled Tribes Order, 4th Amendment Bill 2022, 2 hours. The Constitution, Scheduled Tribes Order, 2nd Amendment Bill 2022, 2 hours. The Constitution, Scheduled Tribes Order, 3rd Amendment Bill 2022, 2 hours. The Multi-State Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill 2022, 4 hours. Motion for election to the Council established under Section 31(1) of the Institute of Technology Act 1961, Dr. Subhash Sarkar, to move a motion for election of one member to the Council established under subsection 1 of Section 31 of the Institutes of Technology Act 1961.
Honorable Chairman, sir, with your kind permission, I rise to move the motion of election of one member from amongst the members of the House to be a member of the Council established under subsection 1 of Section 31 of the Institutes of Technology Act 1961, mentioned against the name of my colleague, Cabinet Minister Sri Dharmendra Pradhan, in today's list of business.
Motion moved. Those in favor will say aye. Those against will say no. सर आपने तो ठीक कहा, मौसम बदल गया है. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the motion is adopted. Motion for election to the Council of National Institutes of Technology, Science, Education and Research. Dr. Subhash Sarkar to move a motion for election of one member to the Council of National Institutes of Technology, Science, Education and Research.
Honorable Chairman, sir, with your kind permission, I rise to move the motion of election of one member from amongst the members of the House to be a member of the Council of National Institute of Technology, Science, Education and Research, that is NITSER, mentioned against the name of my colleague, Cabinet Minister, Sri Dharmendra Pradhanji, in today's list of business.
Motion moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Statement by Minister Shri S. Jaishankar.
Honorable Chairman, sir, I rise to apprise this august House of the key foreign policy engagements and initiatives taken by India since the monsoon session, which ended on 8 August 2022. During this period, Indian diplomacy continued apace. Honorable President, Honorable Vice President, and Honorable Prime Minister interacted with a number of their foreign counterparts in India and abroad. We also participated in events linked to the G20, the SCO, and the ASEAN, while hosting a number of foreign dignitaries in India. This included the Secretary General, Antonio Guterres of the United Nations. I myself visited a number of nations, as did our Minister of States, and we received many of our counterpart colleagues here in India. Together, these activities reflected India's growing interest, expanding footprint, and more intensive partnerships. Through these efforts at multiple levels, we were able to advance our national objectives in a world that is increasingly beset with uncertainties, disruptions, and rivalries. Honorable President met Her Majesty Queen Maxima of Netherlands, who visited India from 29 to 31 August 2022 in her capacity as the UN Secretary General's Special Advocate. Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, also called on Honorable President during her state visit to India. Honorable President's first overseas visit was to the United Kingdom to attend the funeral of the late Queen Elizabeth II. Honorable Vice President represented India at the India-ASEAN Commemorative Summit at Cambodia, which elevated the India-ASEAN relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership. He also attended the 17th East Asia Summit, which is an important forum to promote free, open, inclusive, and rules-based Indo-Pacific. Apart from bilateral engagements in Phnom Penh, he visited UNESCO World Heritage Temples at Taprom and Angkor Wat, where conservation and restoration work has taken place with India's support. Furthermore, on the invitation of His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Amir of Qatar, Honorable Vice President attended the opening ceremony of the FIFA World Cup 2022. This reflected India's long-standing relationship with Qatar, which is home to over 8.5 lakh Indian nationals. Honorable Prime Minister participated in the Samarkand Summit of the SCO Council of Heads of States, where India assumed chairmanship of SCO. As chair of SCO, India's priorities are to advance the theme of secure, articulated by the Prime Minister initially at the SCO Summit in Qingdao in 2018. Secure stands for security, economic cooperation, connectivity, unity, respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, and environment. At Samarkand, Prime Minister voiced global sentiment when he declared that this was not an era of war. His statement was in the context of the Ukraine conflict, where our advocacy of dialogue and diplomacy has been consistent and persistent. It has a larger resonance as well. We have also extended support on specific concerns such as supply of food grains and fertilizers, as indeed on security of nuclear installations. Our position has been broadly appreciated by the international community and finds reflection in the G20 Bali Declaration. I am very happy to inform the House that Kashi has been designated as the first SCO cultural and tourist capital for 2022-23. This would facilitate showcasing of our age-old knowledge inheritance and our rich social and cultural heritage. The Prime Minister also attended the state funeral of the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan, who was a particular friend of India. In his meeting with his counterpart, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, Prime Minister noted the invaluable contributions made by Shinzo Abe to strengthening India-Japan relations, as well as conceptualizing the vision of a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific region. Both PMs renewed their commitment towards enhancing India-Japan strategic and global partnership and to work towards promoting regional and international cooperation. The Secretary General of the United Nations, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, paid an official visit to India from 18-20 October and joined Prime Minister in Kevadia to jointly launch the Lifestyle for Environment, LIFE initiative. Heads of state and governments from France, UK, Estonia, Georgia, Maldives, Nepal, Madagascar, Mauritius, Argentina, and Guyana contributed with the messages of support for the LIFE initiative. Allow me, Chairman Sir, to now turn to the subject of G20. As the House is aware, the Prime Minister attended the Bali G20 summit recently, and we soon thereafter assumed its presidency. G20 is the premier forum for global economic cooperation, representing around 85% of the global GDP, over 75% of worldwide trade, and about two-thirds of the world's population. Prime Minister has noted that India's presidency of the G20 during the year of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is a matter of pride for every Indian. The G20 meetings have already commenced in India, and our endeavor is to organize about 200 of these meetings in 32 different sectors in multiple locations across India. The G20 summit is to be held next year, and it would be one of the highest profile international gatherings to be hosted by this country. During the G20 Bali summit, held under Indonesia's presidency, India extended fullest support to ensure its success. Our contribution to finding a common ground among members in a polarized environment was widely appreciated. Prime Minister also held discussions with counterpart leaders on key issues of global concern. They focused mainly on reviving global growth, ensuring food and energy security, promoting technology, preserving environment, and addressing public health and digital transformation. As is customary, many of these opportunities also provided an occasion to take stock of our bilateral relationships. Since we are assuming that responsibility, this was also a time to seek the support and cooperation of all G20 members for the success of India's presidency. Honorable members are aware that the G20 is taking place in the larger context of a geopolitical crisis. Food and energy insecurity, slow progress on sustainable development growth, mounting debt burden, and challenges to climate action and climate justice. Our endeavor is to build consensus within the G20, champion causes, especially of the Global South, and shape the setting of the agenda. This will also be an occasion for us to highlight the 3 Ds of India: development, democracy, and diversity. In our global engagements, we have discerned strong interest in India's digital delivery, public health response, green growth and development, as well as the empowerment of all sections of society. There is also an enhanced interest in our democratic traditions, which go way back in our pluralistic and consultative culture. We envisage the G20 presidency as an occasion to showcase India to the world. This will be done through cultural activities, regional festivals, technology programs, sustainability initiatives, millet promotion, one district, one product promotion, community engagement, and civil society activities. Our presidency will witness a Jan Bhagidari, where all of India would not just participate, but celebrate this occasion. As the House is aware, government has briefed leaders of political parties in this regard. We see this as a truly national endeavor and seek the cooperation of everybody to make it a success. I would also like to highlight that India will provide a stronger voice to issues of interest of the Global South. This is very much a part of our DNA. It was in evidence most recently during the vaccine Maitri. Our emphasis will be on sharing the India story, caring for all, and taking collective action. It will focus on emphasizing our achievements and priorities such as digital India, clean energy, sustainable lifestyles, women-led development, and multilateral reforms. Prime Minister's initiative on lifestyle for environment, and India's millet initiative, which has resulted in the UN declaration of the year 2023 as the International Year of Millets, would also be prominent in India's approach towards addressing the SDGs. Today, we are building stronger bridges with both developing countries and advanced economies. Apart from our G20 presidency, we are members of a growing number of groups and mechanisms. Some of them are relatively established, like the BRICS and Commonwealth. Others have been more recent, like the Quad and SCO. And still others are emerging, like the I2U2 and the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. We are also increasingly engaging the world in group formats, reflecting the growing interest on their part to cooperating with India. This could be with the ASEAN, with Africa or the Pacific Islands, or indeed the Nordic nations, CARICOM, CELAC, or Central Asia. Our growing collaboration with the European Union is of particular importance. Chairman, sir, I would like to share with the House that the ministers of MEA have been equally active during this period. I have myself hosted the foreign ministers of Maldives, France, Singapore, Botswana, United Kingdom, Ghana, Gabon, Belarus, Syria, UAE, and Germany in this period. I would also highlight the India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable and the collective interaction with 12 African ministers dealing with education and skills who were here at the invitation of my colleague Dharmendra Pradhan that took place in Delhi. It would give the honorable members a sense of the breadth of our engagement and the growing global interest in India. This was also in evidence during my outgoing visits to Thailand, Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina, UAE, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, USA, Australia, New Zealand, Egypt, and Russia. It was my privilege to represent India at the UN General Assembly high-level segment this year. I took the occasion to engage with the G4, the L69, Quad, IPSA, BRICS, CELAC, and CARICOM, and hold multiple trilaterals and bilaterals. Our ministers of state have been equally vigorous in promoting India's interests abroad. Sri Muralidharanji went to Brazil, Senegal, USA, Oman, Djibouti, Kenya, Eritrea, and Nigeria. Srimati Meenakshi Lekhiji represented India at the SICA summit at Kazakhstan and visited Georgia, Norway, Iceland, and Malta. Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singhji was our representative at the IORA Ministerial and visited Indonesia. So, the House would be would also be aware that as the chair of the Counter-Terrorism Committee of the UN Security Council, India hosted its special meeting in October. All 15 members participated and paid homage to victims of the 26/11 terrorist attack at the Memorial Wall in the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel. This was the first time that the UNSC held a meeting in India. The Delhi Declaration emphasized the need to display zero tolerance towards terrorism and to combat it in all its forms and manifestations. Chairman, sir, I'm happy to inform the House that after a gap created by COVID, India will be hosting the 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas at Indore from 8 to 10 January 2023. This year's theme acknowledges the contributions of Indian diaspora as, quote, diaspora, reliable partners for India's progress in Amrit Kal, unquote. The 32 million Indian diaspora is a great source of support for our country. India's 4C commitment of care, connect, celebrate and contribute would be on display during these celebrations. His Excellency President Mohammad Irfan Ali of Guyana will be the chief guest of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2023. Where Republic Day 2023 is concerned, we have invited His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of Egypt as the chief guest. He has graciously accepted the invitation. Honorable members would also be glad to know that the 12th World Hindi Conference will be jointly organized by India and Fiji from 15 to 17 February 2023 at Fiji. This will be the first occasion for hosting this event in the Pacific region. Chairman, sir, foreign policy today is no longer just an exercise of a ministry or even simply that of the government. It has a direct impact on the daily lives of all Indians. This may be in ensuring that our products have market access or that our talent gets into the global workplace. But it is equally an effort to ensure that technology, best practices and capital flow into India. Our endeavor in a difficult global situation is that the welfare of the Indian people is ensured, however challenging the circumstances. This may be in exceptional situations like Operation Ganga in Ukraine, or the ability to access key necessities like energy and fertilizers on affordable terms. Or indeed, in concluding migration and mobility partnerships, as we have just done with Germany. Indian foreign policy is there to serve the Indian people. We will do whatever it takes to discharge that responsibility. It could be in ensuring international support for our policies or in the acceptance globally of our interests and objectives. These may be difficult times, but it is also an occasion to display our leadership and make a strong contribution to global peace, stability, growth, and security. Honorable members know this well and understandably approach the ministry sometimes with their particular concerns and issues. It has been our earnest effort to respond as effectively and as sincerely as possible to their communications. We are extremely conscious that foreign policy must respond to the requirements and demands of our society. We demonstrate that as much through the activities of our embassies abroad as we do at home through improved passport and immigration services. I have every confidence that this august House does appreciate both our promotion of national interests abroad as well as our responsiveness to the daily requirements of our people. I conclude with the expectation that the House will continue to extend its fullest support to our efforts and encourage our success in the G20 presidency in particular and foreign policy in general. Thank you so much.
सर, G20 में भी मुलाकात हुई होगी, कई जगह मुलाकात हुई होगी। क्या जहां हमारे 20 जवानों की शहादत हुई, उस चीन सीमा के संदर्भ में जहां चीन ने बलपूर्वक कब्जा किया, कोई वार्ता आपकी हुई है? बस इतना ही जानना चाहता हूं। आप बताना चाहें बताएं, और अगर बताने लायक ना हो तो मत बताइएगा।
I think one second. One second. I had made an appeal to the honorable members, and you are more cognizant than I am. This is a House of Elders, the upper house. We are required to conduct our proceedings in a manner that generates an ecosystem of emulation all over. The Honorable Minister has imparted a very thorough statement. Members of the House are entitled to seek clarifications. In a methodical manner, input has been made available to me. I would be happy that others also follow the same system. Dr. Amar Patnaik.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. I'd like to thank Honorable External Affairs Minister for a very detailed and expansive statement about India's foreign policy outreach, as well as meeting domestic requirements. I have just two clarifications to ask the Honorable Minister at paragraph number 12. There is a general statement at a number of paragraphs regarding India's leadership role in the technology front. On the specific question of trusted cross-border data flow, as well as to deal with virtual digital assets, would India be considering promotion of a global body to have a principle-based global order on the lines of the WTO, or would it like to do this entire thing within the ambit of WTO? The second clarification, sir, is that all over the world, wherever I travel, the question of inequity, particularly in the areas of health, area of education, digital inequity, these arise, but in Africa, for example. Would India be taking the lead in putting this particular ethos in the G20 and represent the least developed countries of Africa, Asia, and Southeast Asia to the global north? Thank you so much, sir.
Honorable Minister.
So, with regard to the clarification sought on digital.
Minister, finally, the Honorable Minister would respond. I have another list with me, just given to me, Shri Vaiko. We have three more names, Honorable Minister. Initially, there was one.
Honorable Mr. Chairman, sir, the statement given by the Minister shows very clearly that our mutual interests with other countries and our positive approach towards other countries. But I would like to know, Geneva, under the United Nations, it is the very important organization. There, when the voting took place regarding Sri Lanka, for what reasons India abstained from voting? This is my first clarification. I want to reply from you. Second thing, at our doorstep, the genocide took place. Lakhs and lakhs of Tamils were killed, and women were raped, and children were killed, and the previous government gave weapons. That is different. But now, when all these things have happened, you are giving support now to Sri Lanka. But Sri Lanka has leased out Hambantota port to China, and recently also Chinese warship landed in the port, compromising our national security and coastal security. It will have a serious bearing on India's security and economic and strategic interests and maritime and coastal facilities. on this important issue, what steps you have taken to protect the interests of India?
Professor Manoj Kumar Jha.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, sir. My compliments to you on assuming a charge. My first compliment to Honorable Minister, sir. It is very comprehensive. You almost touched every aspect of it. But there are certain concerns which I would like to know from you. Many a time when we read about Government of India's stand or position paper, it seems that the foreign policy has only been shaped by after 2014. So this 2014-centric approach of foreign policy undermines the people and the processes which were involved since 1947. Number one, sir. Number two, India had a very stated position, Honorable Minister, sir, through you, Honorable Chairman. In a conflict between oppressor and the oppressed, India never was neutral. Between a fight between an elephant and an ant, if your neutrality helps the elephant, I think there somehow, recent developments in Gaza, I think I didn't hear anything from Government of India. And finally, between Ukraine and Russia, it was a very, very delicate chapter. We have our versions different from you, but whatever I think you could create a space, you did. But it could have been better. Thank you so much, sir.
Dr. John Bittas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let me also congratulate you taking this opportunity. I'm glad that the Honorable Minister made a very detailed statement touching every point. At the same time, I support my colleague Mr. Manoj Jha that he has avoided dealing with the Palestinian cause for which India has been always steadfast. So I would request the Honorable Minister to have his response on that. So the second clarification is that there have been a lot of talk regarding the extent of pressure exerted by the West on India with regard to the purchase of oil from Russia. The minister has been very diversionary on that point. I would request him to obviously pronounce his mind on that. So the third point is that there has been a price cap imposed by the European Union with regard to the oil price from Russia. How it is going to impact the purchase of oil from Russia vis-a-vis India and Russia. So the fourth point is that, is it not a fact that the chairmanship of G20 is on a rotational basis? And if so, the theme that one earth, one family, one future, will the government respect the diverse culture of India while campaigning on this slogan? And the last point, sir, not the least, sir, there have been thousands of students who have come back from Ukraine. And there was a statement by the Honorable Minister last time. I would like to know from the Minister whether all these students have gone back to Ukraine or how he has facilitated the study further. Thank you, sir.
Shri Tiruchi Siva.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir. Sir, we appreciate our Prime Minister's voice at Samarkand, declaring that this is not an era of war. But the Ukraine war is still going on. The people there are undergoing so much of struggle. They are struggling for basic food and everything. Other than the students who have come here, whose future is still in a question and they have not yet been resolved. In a humanitarian consideration, India has always intervened wherever there is some problem for any human being in the world. So in this context, what are the steps our government is taking to put an end to this war and save the people of Ukraine, as well as to restore the students who have returned from there, to find a way for those students who have returned from Ukraine? Thank you, sir.
Shri Thambi Durai.
Thank you very much for giving the opportunity. Sir, our Honorable Minister gave detailed explanation and a statement regarding the foreign affairs thing. I appreciate him. And also, especially G20, which is going to take place is a is a good for our Indian country. Our Modi ji has taken a lot of efforts, appreciated. But, sir, as our honorable member Vaikoji raised on issue Sri Lanka Tamil issue, apart from that, Sri Lanka and India had a pact to solve the Sri Lankan Tamil issue. That I'm giving some amendment and protect the rights. What is the stage now? That is, at the time, Jayavardhane and Honorable former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, they made an agreement. Whether the government is very seriously insisting that to get the, because when we are conducting a program, the G20, it is a prestige for India. At the same time, our neighbor, our brothers who also has said diet and also for certain causes. But what is the fate of that fact, whether government India has taken a serious step on this thing?
Mr. Sujit Kumar.
Sir, I will certainly commend the Honorable Minister for his detailed statement on India's foreign policy and for providing competent leadership. Sir, I have a specific query for him. Sir, while all eyes are on the World Cup in Qatar, sir, little is known about the fate of 8 Indian ex-naval officers who are in detenue in that country for close to 100 days now. Sir, as per newspaper reports, they were picked up in the middle of the night from their home and are kept in solitary confinement since 30th of August. And consular access was provided to them only on 3rd of October. Sir, the family members have expressed serious concerns about the health, mental harassment of the ex-heroes of our country. And sir, it seems that MEA is not very forthcoming on what dialogue is going on with the Qatari government to secure and seek their release and repatriation. And also, sir, it is believed that this has been done and they have been charged with espionage, apparently at the behest of one of our neighbor, unfriendly neighbor. So, sir, through you, sir, I would like to know from the Honorable Minister, what are the steps being taken by the Government of India to seek the release of our former heroes? Thank you.
Mr. Pramod Tiwari. No, he was interrupted. I asked him to take seat because it had not come through a method. Go ahead.
सर, मेरा सिर्फ एक विनम्रता पूर्वक राष्ट्र हित में एक सवाल है कि मिले होंगे आप, वहाँ अच्छी बात भी हुई होगी, G20 में भी मिले थे और जगह मिले थे। हमारे 21 जवानों की शहादत हुई है भारत चीन सीमा पर। कुछ भूभाग भी उन्होंने काफी कब्जा कर रखा है। क्या उसके संदर्भ में कोई वार्ता हुई हो तो आप अवश्य बताएं, पूरा राष्ट्र जानना चाहता है, ये आवश्यक है। बहुत ही बहुत धन्यवाद।
Mr. Vinod Vishwam.
Sir, thank you. Sir, the statement made by the Honorable Minister Jaishankar ji is so important to the contemporary times. And the keen interest the House extended to him shows that how important it is for this House also. I am grateful to the Minister and for his broad-heartedness. So on certain questions, I share the views raised by my colleagues like Manoj Kumar Jha and John Bittas and some others. Sir, certain questions, India has to be very clear that on Palestine, always we were having a position. We stood with the people of Palestine. We regarded them always as our friends and sons and daughters. Now we feel whether there is a tilt of our voice in that matter. Kindly be clarified. Sir, just like that, the concerns of the students who came from Ukraine is haunting all of us. I know that the minister also tried his level best, but still they are having anxiety of their future, their families too. Kindly adjust them. Sir, the third point is that the SAU, South Asian University, run by the SAARC countries. India is hosting it in Delhi. Sir, the SAU students and the teachers are facing a problem. That has to be settled. I am very sure that the diplomatic skill of our minister can help it. I am very sure that he has intervened. I wrote to him, he replied to me also. But I am very clearly telling you, the matters are yet to be answered clearly. So please, sir, serve the issue. My next point is that regarding the, I went through the agenda of G20, and now we are the chairman. The chairmanship is rotation, sir. Last year it was Indonesia. Next year somebody else will come. It will come. So it is very good that India is now the chairman. Of course, by rotation. During this chairmanship, we believe that our great country will make its own impact on the G20 countries and all over the world. In that regard, I may ask the government. In the agenda of the G20, I read women empowerment is an important issue. Women empowerment. Will the government be positive enough to enact the Women Reservation Bill during this period? My question. Next question is that regarding the environment. He also mentioned it. The agenda of the G20, environment and climate change is very properly focused. And now we see that